maailmas on nii palju asju, mida teha.
Ma ei tea, mis siin maal kõnnivad teha.
Sest inimene ei jää ellu, kui ta süüa ei saa. Ja selleks, et süüa, peab ta tööd tegema. Sellised on selle maailma reeglid. Meeldib see sulle või mitte?
Sa oled pensionär. Sa võiksid sama hästi minna poodi ja sealt enda söögi osta.
Tšekki pole vaja.
1,46.
Ma ei saa seda kahjuks endale lubada. Kogun raha kirstu jaoks.
Vanaema, räägi midagi.
Muinas juttu või?
Hello, greetings guys and welcome back to Geek Legion of Doom. I'm Lisa from the Lisa Loves channel and I'm here to bring you a review today of the 2021 movie Kratt. This is a movie from Estonia that was written and directed by Rasmus Merivoo. Apologies if I'm mispronouncing that. And it actually stars his two children as the main two kids in this movie. They play characters called Kevin and Mia. We also have a wonderful lady by the name of Lill, who is a famous Estonian actress. I haven't seen her before this point, and she plays the kids' grandma. And for me, she's the big winner in this movie. So what is Kratt about? So when I read the rough synopsis of the movie before watching it, it was described as a dark fantasy, comedy, horror, family movie. And I'm thinking, all of those things? And I'm thinking, is this possible? So many genres. This movie is probably unlike very much you've seen before. So, what's a Kratt, I hear you ask? We need to delve into some Estonian mythology to explain that to you and to the premise of the movie. So, this movie follows to the two kids, Mia and Kevin, who have been dropped off with their grandma in the countryside. They're not allowed their smartphones. Their parents want to go to retreat to have some peace, and the kids are going to experience a fun summer helping their grandma on her farm. And they're not going to have any social media or any of those things. There are other stories running parallel to this. We have a councillor that's trying to get some trees taken down in an area that's considered sacred, and we have people protesting against this. This runs in the background, and to me, to be honest, wasn't really required, as I think the other side of the story, the one where we follow the kids and the grandma, is so strong. We didn't really need concurrent stories running alongside here, which we do have, but back to Grandma and the kids. So these kids arrive and they're trying to get used to Grandma's quaint ways, her old-fashioned ways. She's not really down with the kids, shall we say? Neither am I, but that's besides the point. They find themselves having too much to do in the way of chores for Grandma and helping, and they want a little bit of escapism. They can't get onto Instagram to do videos, which is what they want to do. So they decide to go to the local library because they have heard that there are computers there. Now, they actually meet up with another couple of kids from the area and they go in search of something to do, and they come upon a book, which is where we get to the Kratt. I'm not going to obviously tell you the whole synopsis. This is sort of the building of the movie. They get the book and they set about, for fun, building a Kratt. Now, what's a Kratt, I hear you ask? In Estonian mythology, a Kratt is a creature that is built from various different bits and bobs, hay, anything you've got lying about. It can be parts of machinery, car, metal, anything, and you build this creature and you have to buy a soul from the devil with 3 drops of blood to make this Kratt come to life as such. And the purpose of a Kratt is to work for you. Now, I think in the olden days of mythology, it was meant to do things for you that you really shouldn't be doing. It would maybe steal, it would break the law. But in this movie, it's very much, it just wants to constantly work for its owner, and it's constantly asking, give me work, give me work. And the problem with a Kratt is if it doesn't have work to do, it becomes very cantankerous to the point of murderous. So that's all I'm going to give you in the way of a storyline. What worked about this movie? First off, I have to say Lill as the grandma is just a hidden gem. I've never heard of this lady. She's an Estonian actress. She plays the grandma. She is hilarious. She's one of these ladies that does not need to open her mouth. She is just funny by way of her expressions, how she carries herself, how she interprets different things, how she interacts with other people. Wonderful. I loved her. The two kids, now we could say writer and director's kids, a bit of nepotism going on there, but I have to say that the two kids' performances were both excellent. They're naturals. This is clearly what they should be doing. The two kids that they meet and befriend are also excellent. There's not a weak link when it comes to acting. I did not watch this movie and think, oh, they were good, but this was a bit poor. I never found myself being taken out of the story by acting. Cinematography was beautiful. It was really nice to look at, really nice colours. Interspersed, some scenes were quite artistic, but most of it was very grounded. You found yourself following the story along and really relating to the characters, and then something really odd would happen, which just felt a bit jarring in places. But I think a lot of it's maybe cultural, and maybe a lot went over my head, was we maybe did have references to political situations in Estonia or those areas which I wouldn't really be aware of. But more of the jokes landed than didn't. I think any that possibly didn't was perhaps my lack of understanding of maybe things that would make sense to local people. As I say, I loved the performances, I loved the cinematography, sound design was fine. I liked the fact that it was a little bit weird, a little bit odd. It's not going to be for everyone. It's not something you can sit down and watch and feel that you've seen before. It doesn't have that completely linear, oh, I know what I'm sitting down to watch here. You've no idea what you're sitting down to watch here. It's very odd, but not in the sense of it being surreal and not making sense, not in the sense of it being arty for art's sake and at the expense of the story. I feel we had a very simple story here, fleshed out with very good characters, believable characters, a notion that is actually quite creepy when you think about it, but made funny, a bit of dark humour there. Now, it is actually even suitable for older kids, I would say, this one. It doesn't have anything really uber scary or gory that would frighten certain children or older children. It was more, I felt very much in the line of like a dark fantasy, but funny. It had a real sort of heart about it. I feel that's why I enjoyed it. It had real heart. I felt that the people involved in working on it really wanted to put their all into it, really believed in this movie, wanted to give the audience just the idea and everything that had been dreamed up by this writer-director, and I feel they accomplished that extremely well. So what, if anything, didn't work for Kratt? Now, I won't say there's anything glaringly that didn't work. I do feel we had a couple of sort of stories run in parallel. We had a story about a local politician that is sort of to do with pulling down trees and people being against that because it's in a sacred area. It was all very sort of besides the main point that we were watching. I'm wanting to go back to Grandma and the kids again and find out what's happening. But that does later down the line, it does all sort of intersect with each other, and we do come together later in the movie and things kind of make sense. I do feel that that story wasn't quite as engaging. I think for me personally, you may feel differently. For me personally, I loved the humour that came from the grandma. She was hilarious. Facial expressions, everything. I loved her character and I just constantly wanted to see what grandma was doing. Now, with the building of the Kratt, something I have to say went wrong. We don't have the result that we perhaps would anticipate or expect, but the results that we receive are fantastic. It sort of like even switches the movie's genre slightly. I can't say how as it will spoil what happens, but yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this one, I have to say. I will also say it won't be for everyone. It is quite odd, but not at the expense of the story. It just won't be everyone's comfort zone because it is not really like anything you'll probably have seen before. I found it delightful. I loved the performances. I especially loved Grandma. There was no weak link there in the acting, sound design. I find if I can watch a movie and I'm not pulled out of it by a jarring shot, something that just looks bad quality, I'm really craning to hear, I'm having difficulty with the sound effects being really loud, I'm turning it up for the volume of speaking and then I'm being like deafened by sound effects, nothing annoys me as much. All of that was perfect in this. Sound design, cinematography, acting spot on. As I say, my only reservation would be that it won't be for everyone, but I did thoroughly enjoy it and I would recommend you give it a go if you want to sit down and watch something truly individual and different that you may not have seen before. So in conclusion, I would definitely recommend you check Kratt out. It will be available from the 1st of October on streaming services, and if I had to rate this movie, I would come in at a good solid 6 out of 10 for this one, which for me is a pretty good score. It's definitely better than average in my opinion. So let us know below in the comments, folks. Have you heard of a Kratt? Does this sound like something that you would be perhaps interested in? Let us know below in the comments what you think, and we look forward to speaking to you next time on Geek Legion of Doom.